No plan B. It's AD. You already see. I made a video earlier, and I was waiting for this trade right here. You know, it's the same night. I get out of the shower, do my thing, and I'm waiting for this trade. And something interesting happened. You know, I set my entry limit right here, 63.71. My stop loss is down here, 67.75. We come all the way down here to 63.68, and price doesn't even touch my stop loss. But due to the bid and the ask, it stopped me out anyways. One tick. And after that, it proceeded to go to where I knew it was going to go. I knew it. And that brought the idea, the topic of the day. I have it written down. One tick away. Trading life philosophy. So here we go. Now, I want to start off by saying, I was a little TO'd at first, but as you go through life, things like this that happen no longer really bother you anymore, Throughout my young adult life, there's been many instances where I was just one tick away from a certain outcome in life or in trades. I mean, this happens all the time. And for the traders out there, this is nothing new, Missed entry by one tick, got stopped out by one tick, or, the normal BS that goes on. It's just like a lot of situations where there's people out here applying for jobs. You see the videos everywhere. I applied for the job. We went through the interview. They said I was great. They loved me, and then we got past that, got all the way down to the final. It's neck and neck. It's me versus them, and it just so happened that they picked them, You missed it by just a tick, and I just wanted to talk about that today. And, in trading, one tick can be the difference between profit and loss. And it's the same way in life. One small, minute decision can be the difference between getting that job or not getting that job, Getting that girl or not getting that girl, You see her at the grocery store looking pretty good, Should I talk to her? Should I not? It's a one tick decision, Do I want to eat, McDonald's today, or do I want to, pop in that DiGiorno pizza, save a little bit of money, One tick away, one decision away. It's the same thing. In life, I got another bulletin. In life, small decisions or tiny timing differences can completely change outcomes. And that's so very true, In my life, I'll give you an example. In my life, when I was young, I was with my current girlfriend. And at that time, it was like 10 years ago, and we were young, And I was wild, she was wild, We couldn't come to agreements on things, and, the love was there, but there was just the intangibles, The intangibles and the little ticks in life, The little things is what what caused our downfall at that time, you know. Fast forward 10 years later, we're back together. We already lived our separate lives for some years, you know. Got back together, and now the little ticks in life, the little small minute things, they don't matter in the grand scheme of things, you know. And even in trading, it's the same thing. You know, maybe this time it didn't actually hit my stop loss. I got ticked out anyways, you know. I lost 3 trades in a row now. Bam, bam, bam. You know, that's just how it is in life. You know. This time it just, the cookie crumbled that way this time, as my mother would say. You know. But that doesn't mean that I abandon the strategy, or that doesn't mean that, you know, it will never work. You know, fast forward, like I said, 10 years, and you know, I'm with my girlfriend right now, and we're, you know, I'm at that age where, you know, I'm probably gonna get down on one knee for this woman, and I look forward to our future together. You know. So when we fast forward in life to this trade right here that happened maybe an hour later, you know, look at the outcome that could have been. Now, granted, I took this trade, yeah. I got my 2-to-1. My strategy is always 2-to-1. But here's the thing, right? I went for 2-to-1. Look how far this went, man. This went the distance, you know. And that's how life is, you know. You take your shot, you risk, you know. And sometimes that risk to reward, you might be thinking it's a 2-to-1, but maybe God says, you know what? This is going to be way bigger of a reward than you could have ever imagined. And the thing about Christ is, you couldn't even imagine the things that he can do for you in your life. The amount of change that he can do for you in your life. Because for me, and for a lot of us, we're only aiming for this. But when you're at a certain state, a certain part of your life, you know, where you keep taking this, you keep getting ticked out and wicked out and put down and, you know, getting the, how do they say it, the wrong end of the stick or the wrong straw or whatever. You know what I'm trying to say. Every now and then, this. Every now and then, this. You know? And that's an amazing thing, which is why, you know, this channel, I want to promote taking that risk. I want to promote, you know, let's not stay on this, you know. At the beginning of my trading today, 3 losses in a row, 2 of them, you know, that's part of the strategy. One of them is some BS, but I could have, you know, said, that's it, you know, I'm going to go eat this DiGiorno pizza that I have in the oven and just turn on some YouTube and call it a day. But I said, you know what? No, I'm going to try again. I'm going to risk it again, because what do you have to lose? And bam. You know. So there's people out there that, you know, just take the risk, man. Just take the risk, brother. what's the worst that can happen, you know? She could say no, you know. Who cares? Well, what's the risk? You know, you can blow your eval account. Who cares? Just buy another one. You know? What's the worst that can happen? You know, you're already in a situation where you're very unhappy with your circumstance. You know, why not just risk it? What's the worst that can happen, you know? So let me see. I got some more bulletins. I don't know how long this is. I'm not trying to be too long-winded with you fine folks, but let's see. I got life often requires waiting for the right moment. You know, rushing can cost you more than you realize, which it's very true. It's very true in my circumstance. I think I was rushing lots of things instead of just waiting, you know, being patient. And that's my timer going off to, you know, go ahead and get on into bed and get ready to put my finger back on that punch-in clock. And speaking of that, I had a story one of my coworkers told me. I just wanted to share it real quick and put in perspective how these corporations think about you. And, you know, it kind of goes, you know, this guy, he had to call in sick one day, and, you know, he said he was having stomach issues. He was vomiting all night, and he sends a text message to the boss, and he's like, hey, man, you know, I'm not going to be able to come in tomorrow. And the manager's like, you know, I really need you to come in, you know, I just need you to come in, you know, this is what he said, you know, he said, I'm not feeling well either, but I'm here. So, you know, I need you to be here as well. And the guy goes, yeah, I'm not going to be able to come in. And the manager responds like, well, we're going to have a talk about this, you know. And the guy that's trying to call in, he has time, you know. That's kind of, you know, part of the benefits that we get is we get personal time off as well as sick time. And, you know, these corporations, they don't care about you. They don't care about you. And of course they had some talk, and, you know, it's just, you know, it's just a load of crap, you know, to be honest. And that's why you can't settle for these corporations that they don't care about you, man. You have to want more. You have to do more. You know, whatever your trade is, you have to just get out of it, man. Just not the trade. Get out of working for the man. You know, get out of it. You know, if you're sick and you can't work, you shouldn't have to work. You know, what kind of life is that? I understand having to do what you gotta do. I get it, but I mean, my goodness. This man was throwing up all night. You know, he got nothing in his system. He didn't even sleep. And you want me to, no, it's not me, but you want him to go and clock in and put a 12-hour route in, a 12-hour shift, knowing we don't even get breaks? Oh, come on, man. But yeah, I just wanted to share that story and maybe inspire you guys to go get that eval or go back to school or, you know, something. But anyways, guys, this video's a little long-winded, so I'm going to wrap it up here. I just wanted to show you guys, you know, what happened today. Anyways, no plan B. It's AD. You already see. Peace.